Nobody cares. Let's just start there. Nobody cares that you worked out today. Nobody cares that you're trying to eat clean. Nobody cares that you're trying to heal. Nobody cares that you're out here grinding, trying to get your money. And nobody cares that you're out here trying to fix what's broken in your life, except you. And if somebody's that busy watching you and how you live in your life, trust me, they're not handling what they need to in theirs. The moment I stopped worrying about who was watching me, judging how I looked, how I moved, or how I was trying to grow, was the moment my growth got real. Because if your progress depends on people clapping for you, you're not building discipline, you're building dependency. Welcome to This Time is Personal. Welcome to This Time is Personal. I'm Avion, and today we're talking about the difference between growing for you and performing for them, about how easy it is to let other people's opinions and eyes keep you from moving, and how to break free from that so that you can actually grow into who God called you to be. Because if your goal is about applause, you're going to stay stuck. But if your goal is about growth, even when it's quiet, even when it's uncomfortable, you're going to make it happen. And if you're here, that means you're trying to level up some area of your life. So before we dive in, do me a favor. Hit the like button, subscribe, and send this to somebody who needs it. A question that often comes to my mind, so I'm sure it goes to other people's mind, is why do we care so much about what people think about us, even when we know it's holding us back? That's definitely a question I generally ponder and have pondered, but I've been able to put some serious thought behind that. And I mean, for me, a lot of it was because there was still this 8-year-old version of myself that just really wanted to be seen, that wanted to be heard, that wanted to be loved, that really just wanted to be wanted. I grew up wanting to prove I was enough. I grew up wanting to prove that I mattered. And that honestly carried over into my adulthood. I didn't realize I was really just still trying to get the approval from and of people. What I failed to realize in that time was that I was trying to fill a void that only God could fill. And it wasn't always about likes or comments. Sometimes it was me giving my absolute last dollar to others, knowing I needed it for gas, knowing I needed it to pay a bill, knowing that, I needed it to eat. But at that moment, it was that 8-year-old me that wanted to feel needed, wanted to feel seen. I just wanted to be like that person that you can always count on, even if that really meant me falling apart behind the scenes. Is that healthy? No. Realizing that now, right? That was more so the loud applause, I guess you'll say, in that moment, at least in my mind. It was the applause that, hey, I just did this for somebody and I feel good. But then when it's gone, I don't feel so good. Really, I guess I was just trying to convince myself at the end of the day that I was valuable. But the truth is, I did all that again just to be seen, just to be needed. But what I was really doing was keeping myself stuck in a place that I was broke in. And I didn't really realize it until I started letting God heal those particular places that I was living stuck in, trying to be everything to everybody while losing myself in the process. Wasn't going to help me out until I really let it go. Until I really allowed God to do his job so that I can do my job. Does that make sense? In all of that reflection, I started to notice that I began seeing patterns in my life, chasing applause instead of growth. That mindset didn't just happen. It kind of grew with me. And it's something that I'm honestly still shedding a part of today. And in this particular journey, because I do a lot, I really feel like as long as my body physically is in this space of vulnerability, discipline, submission, is where I'm learning more about myself and learning more about who God called me to be. But I also noticed that in this process, it wasn't just in a gym for me. Again, it was how I spent my money, buying shoes that I really didn't need, because I got shoes now that I don't even wear. I got a couple of shoes that I haven't worn, and maybe I need to give them away, but that's another day. That's another day of healing that maybe I should maybe revisit. But I realized that a lot of what I was doing, buying things, spending money on things, trying to keep that particular image of myself up, wasn't really for myself. It was for others. It was to get the applause of others. It was to get that, hey, my boy, you fresh. That little, hey, my boy, you fresh. For those who, the fellas, we know that, hey, my boy, you fresh could change a couple of things. It make you feel like you the man. So really what I noticed is that not only was I chasing the applause, I was chasing my ego. And under all of that, I was breaking. Financially, I wanted to look the part. I wanted to look like I had it all together. I wanted to look like, hey, I got this. So I would definitely go out and I would splurge at times. Oh, hey, y'all, you want to go get something to eat? Yeah, I'm down to my last, but it's cool. I can go. Let me check this credit card real quick. All right, we good. I was struggling and didn't want to say, because part of that was I didn't even have boundaries for myself, because again, I was chasing the applause of others. I was wanting to feel needed. I was wanting to feel a part of something. But in wanting to feel needed and wanting to feel a part of something, all I was doing was literally adding weight to my back to carry. So at this point, I guess you could just say I'm just stacking. I'm stacking on stacking on stacking, which eventually reflected in how I felt about myself, and my outer appearance began to really show it. And you know what? That same desire to be seen and validated showed up heavy in my fitness journey often. And I mean, we're going down to the point of where if somebody didn't see that I did my workout based off of this Apple Watch, or if nobody seen me post it online, or if even if nobody actually see me physically in the act of working out, it didn't count. Um, Whether it be eating clean, whether it be reading my Bible or the Bible app, it didn't count. And one thing, and before I go deeper into that, the one thing, and this is off a little tangent, but the one thing that I'm learning is that we are becoming so dependent on technology to tell us that we did something right when we knew or we know that we did something right. But we're so dependent on this technology to validate us and say, you got it, you did it, you're good, you killed it. That if something goes wrong in that particular process, we just melt. Like literally, we melt. And I'll tell you really quick. This happened to me often before I got this new Apple Watch, that my old Apple Watch used to malfunction all the time because it was just ready to be upgraded. And one day, while I was in the middle of my workout, it literally shut off on me. And mind you, this is when I done told a couple of people, hey, my health is terrible. I need y'all to keep me accountable. Number one, I realized in me asking other people to keep me accountable, that was my first fail because I should have been keeping myself accountable. Number two, I was realizing that I was trying to keep this watch on to keep me accountable. And that was my second fail, which all goes back into validation, because I needed them to see that I was working, and I needed this watch to tell me that I was working, to know that I was working, when that was a lie, right? I know I was working. That should have been enough, but it wasn't. Fast forward, I literally went a good month or two where I just said, forget it. It can't be recorded, so I'm not going to do it. Like, how wild is that? I allowed myself to go backwards deeper into my health hole. And along the way, lost all my progress that I was making because I was seeking validation, number one, in this watch technology that would have told everybody else that I was doing something, which would have brought more validation. How wild is that? Like, I think we give too much credit to these things that record us, and we really just need to go back old school with it. You know, you did the work, and it is what it is. Fast forward again to this week, before I even and I don't know if it was just like maybe God saying, let me test you and see if you really about this life before you get on this episode and start talking about this. Let me test you. This new Apple Watch that I have, I woke up Monday already tired, already late for my workout. So I was mad because I hate being late. And as soon as I put my Apple Watch on, I noticed that it was not connected to my phone. And because it was not connected to my phone, I knew that it was not going to truly record my workout in my workout or on the app, right? So I put it on anyway, went to the gym. I killed it. I killed about 1,000 calories. It was tough because that day mentally I was drained for some reason. And I had to fight through it, on top of fighting through my headphones dying at the beginning of my cardio session. So it was like battle after battle, technology battle after technology battle. I was seeking that validation, and I needed it to hold me accountable, right? Wrong. I still did my workout. I killed the workout, even though I was tired. But when I got home to reset my watch or pair it back up to my phone, it literally recorded nothing. So if we're going backwards to the Avion maybe a year ago, when I first started this journey, that would have literally probably killed me because I was so dependent on this thing telling me that I did something right when I knew I did it right. But guess what? This time, it didn't matter because I know for one thing, my body feels it. So if there's any validation that I need, my body tells me all the time, hey, you did your job. Thank you, body. I did my job. In all of that, I just want to say what I've been learning through this process is that it's either I'm going to grow or I'm going to stay stuck. And the growth, if that's what I'm chasing, is going to happen whether people see it or not. And the accountability that really matters is the one that I have with God and the one that I have with myself. But I had to get to a point where I realized I couldn't keep living for the validation of others. I reached a point where I was really just tired. I looked in the mirror. I said, wow. And this time when I looked in the mirror, it was like a deep look into the mirror. It was like really looking into myself. I reached that point where I was tired of performing. I was tired of trying to keep up an image that wasn't real. I was tired of carrying the weight physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and tired of the financial stress that came along with all of that. I got to a place where I didn't even know who I was. And because I was in this place of not knowing who I was, what I was really in search for instead of the validation was identity. I had none. But I remember being in the swimming pool at LVAC and watching the waves in the pool just flow. And I was listening, I want to say, to Alex Isley, Love Again. And all I can remember is silently saying, God, please help me find me. Show me who I am. Show me who you created me to be. Because I'm tired of being the version that people expected. I'm tired of being that version of me that would seek validation. I'm tired of being the one that chased being wanted. And And in that, I realized that I just had to truly surrender myself personally to God and surrender that version of myself of the version of me that was built on people's opinions, the version of me that was built on what I thought people's opinions of me was. I had to give that to God. And that's where everything truly started shifting for me. I stopped caring if people clapped for me. I stopped caring if they were looking at me. I stopped chasing their applause. I mean, it was so bad that I had gym anxiety, and we're talking about Avion, the guy that played football all his life, got up to Division 1. All you do is work out. All you do is perform in front of others. And I have gym anxiety. Why? Because I was so worried about what other people thought about me. And that was not okay. And the reality for most people with why they struggle staying consistent, why they struggle starting, is because they're so worried about what other people have to say. They're so worried about the opinions of others. When your reason for showing up is validation, the moment the validation stops, so does your consistency. You'll work out as long as you're getting compliments. You'll eat clean as long as people notice. You'll chase your goals as long as people are cheering you on. But the second that the likes stop, the comments slow down, or people stop noticing, you'll fall off. Because you were never doing it for you in the first place. You were doing it for them. But when you decide to grow for yourself, you'll keep showing up even when it's quiet, even when it's uncomfortable, even when nobody sees it. Again, because your why is bigger than their opinions, and your commitment is bigger than their applause. That right there, that's where the real freedom is. That's where the real growth really happens. So if you're feeling stuck right now, worried about how people will see you if you try to change your life, this is what I would tell you. Who cares what they think? Like, seriously, who cares what they think? People who are watching you and judging you are usually not even handling their own business. Their opinions won't pay your bills. Number one, they won't help you lose the weight that you need to lose to stay alive. Number two, they won't get you closer to God. Number three, they won't build your peace. Number four, because what you have to realize is some people don't want you to win. Some people don't want to see you win, especially if that means that you are doing better than them. Some people say things to comfort you, and some people say things to keep you comfortable. Know the difference. You can't live your life worried about how you look to people who aren't even living for themselves. If you're afraid of looking weak or unqualified, remember that nobody starts strong. Growth starts in the uncomfortable places, in the moments where you decide to keep going, even if people are watching, even if they talk about you, even if you feel exposed. That's where the real strength is. That's where the real strength to build is. Along the way, while you're on your journey, just remember, because things don't just change overnight, it's a process. Make sure that you stop and check your posts. Make sure that you're still doing the work for you and not for others. As for me, I've learned to make it personal now, this is why it's personal. It's title. Some things I share because I believe it will help others, but some things are just meant for me to be with me and between me and God. And that's okay. It's about being present and living in the moment. If I was still living for what people thought, I'd be stuck. Still. People used to always say to me when I was at my heaviest, close to 400 pounds, which is wild to me still, man, you don't even look 400 pounds. You carry it so well. Number one, I really look back, and if I could have some baby powder and slap everybody that used to tell me that, stop lying to me, man. Number one, stop lying to me. But I understand. I know they meant well. But I was dying inside. And that was the problem. People's words can keep you stuck if you let them. Because you start to think that you're okay when you're not. Now I ask myself often, just to check my posts again. Am I doing this because God told me to? Am I doing this because it aligns with who I am becoming? Or am I doing this because I want somebody to notice? If it's for them, I check myself. Because at the end of the day, this is my life, my health, my peace, and my purpose. And I refuse to trade that for any likes or any validation from anybody else but me and God. So before we wrap it up, I just want to challenge you this week. Ask yourself, where in your life are you performing for other people instead of growing for yourself? Is it in the gym? Is it in your finances? Is it in your faith? Is it on your healing journey? Whatever it is that you can think of, be honest with yourself. Write it down and name it. Because you can't change what you won't confront. And once you name it, ask yourself, if nobody ever saw this progress, would I still show up for it? Because that's where the real growth lies. This week, I want you to show up in that area for you. Not for the likes, not for validation, not for applause. Just prove to you, prove to yourself that you can be consistent and to honor God who's called you to be more. So if you're ready to step into that, I'd love to hear what you're working on. Shoot me a DM, tag me in your story, or just send me a message saying I'm in. because growth isn't about being seen. It's about becoming solid. And I believe you're built just for that. Thank you for locking in with me today on This Time is Personal. If this episode spoke to you, take a second to leave a comment. You can also leave a review on Apple Podcasts if you're listening. But make sure you like for sure and share this with somebody, because right now we're not just posting content, we're building community. Remember, this journey you're on, it's yours. However, you don't have to do it alone. We're building this community together, one step, one choice, one day at a time, because broken crayons still color, and God's not done writing your story. Dear Heavenly Father, I just want to say thank you for every person listening right now. Thank you for the desire you've placed in them to grow, to heal, and to become who you've called them to be. Lord, you see the places where we've been performing for people, where we've been chasing validation, where we've been trying to earn our worth instead of walking in the worth you've already given us. Help us to let go of the need for applause and help us embrace the quiet work, the consistent work, the unseen work that builds real strength. God, remind us that you see us, that you are proud of the steps we are taking, even when nobody else notices. Teach us to show up for ourselves, to honor you with our choices, and to keep going even when it's hard. I pray for every person who feels stuck right now, who feels unseen, who feels like they're not even enough unless people notice. Remind them that they're enough in you, that they are valuable to you, regardless of the likes, regardless of the comments, regardless of the praise from people. Let them know that we are rooted in your love and your purpose for our lives. Cover us with your peace this week and give them and me the courage to take the next step, to grow quietly, to grow consistently, and to grow for your glory. We trust you, and we thank you in advance for breakthroughs that are coming. In Jesus' name, amen.